Hi there. It's Tom and Tom in new and different locations. Well, I've been in this location before, but you haven't been in that one, I don't think.
Nope. Real background though, not it's like a real fake plant.
Right, a real fake plant, not a fake plant. Um, so today I'd like to talk about something that I think everybody who works in an office deals with all the time.
Mm.
And it's goals and rewards. We talk a lot about outcomes in intentional culture. And in our book, Wildly Successful, it comes up regularly throughout the book because teams should always be looking to create value for customers and stakeholders by achieving outcomes. Outcomes are the things you want to measure. And outcomes are hard to measure sometimes. And so we often will pick other things to measure that we think will be proxies for outcomes.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's okay. I mean, sometimes if you really can't measure an outcome, and I question that, I think what really happens is not that you can't measure outcomes. It's that sometimes the work that you do has to go on for a long time before you actually see the outcome. And so how do you reward people in the interim for doing good work when there's no real evidence that there's an outcome to be had somewhere down the road? And so I get all that. It's hard. But rewards are tricky because they can be hard rewards like pay and bonuses but they also can be the soft kind of attaboy rewards that we all look for along the way as we do work. Somebody says, "Hey, good job." Those rewards, social study, people who study social psychology and organizational behavior say those rewards are actually more powerful in a lot of respects than money and the kind
Yeah.
of hard rewards that people get. And we see in toxic environments people rewarded for the wrong things. And one of the things that I touched on, it came up the other day when we were talking, Tom, was the idea of rewarding individual accomplishment in a team-oriented
Yeah.
environment.
Which is at the heart of what you and I do in intentional culture is create team-oriented environments.
Right, exactly.
So this isn't a small thing for you and I.
No,
Like
it's central.
if you engage us, we're going to talk about building effective teams, not individuals.
Right. And effective teams are effective as teams because they get rewarded and punished, if indeed punishment is needed, as a team, not as individuals. And in that environment, the only people that should be allowed to reward or punish individual behavior, who, Tom? Who should be allowed to do that?
Well, I know the way we did it at Menlo, the team itself can punish an individual on the team.
Right. Because they're the ones getting hurt. If an individual on the team isn't pulling their weight, the only people that are suffering for that are the team members.
And equally, I guess I got to put this in for a really well functioning team. The team might also cover for someone who isn't at the moment pulling their own weight,
For sure.
right? They'll do both. It's like
Right.
someone lost a spouse or a child or something horrendous or had an accident and they're still showing up to work, but they're not pulling their weight. The team will freaking cover for them because
Right.
they're human.
Yes.
and it's the right thing to do, and they'll do it.
And honestly, if they're not doing that, the whole team deserves to suffer for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if
So
somebody's
it's both
hurting
sides.
and the team is not helping them,
Yeah, it's
then
not
that's
good.
on the team, not on the
Yeah.
organization or the individual. You know, like you said, we're all humans. Sometimes we have a bad moment. And when the team is incentivized as a team, then they have to help each other. They have to make
When
it work.
when you study the principles of flow and process improvement, probably the hardest thing to initially grok and understand is you don't care about individual performance ever. It's just not. It's not what is it. And the irony is, wherever I go, small companies and big companies, they're always talking about individuals and their individual performance. And I'm like, it's not even an interesting conversation if we're doing this well.
Right.
Other than those occasional things where, hey, we do have an individual and maybe the team, I'm going to use that word, needs to literally fire them. Or maybe the team is chosen to cover for them because there's a human movement and there's a human moment and they need to cover for them. And those are team decisions. And you as the outsider, in both cases, you barely notice what they're doing if it's going well.
Right.
They got
Or
rid of
care.
something and you don't notice and you don't care, or they're covering for someone and you don't notice and you don't care because the flow of the team is still reaching their outcomes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful
It is.
in both regards.
And interestingly, one of the things that disrupts that is the traditional supervisory hierarchy of structure within an organization, where teams are often comprised of individual contributors who have no direct reports, and they report to a manager or supervisor who is there, presumably, if they're running an intentional culture, they're there to coach and mentor them and help them do better. And so in that context, they may be talking about individual performance, but they're going to talk about it in the context of the team. I know
Yeah.
when I've been working inside of an intentional culture type organization, my supervisor might even talk to my team members and say, hey, I talked to a couple people, they didn't want to give their name, but, they said this or that, or, I'm hearing that you did some good work. They're getting feedback from the team about me and getting information to go over with me to help me do better with the team. And very often those conversations aren't, you need to get better at this or you need to focus on that. It's like, hey, it seems like you're actually having a trouble with this person. Your relationship isn't going well. What's going on there? Why are you
Yeah.
struggling with them? And that's the kind of coaching and mentoring that you want to give somebody. You're not rewarding them or punishing them for their performance per se, because like I said, that's what the team does. What you're doing is helping them do better within the team context.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with humans, I don't know what percentage of the time, but I suspect it's a majority that type of coaching that's happening is really around communication skills.
Very often,
Mm.
it's most of
It's
it.
like because it's like these are things you didn't necessarily learn in your home. You might have learned the opposite. School generally does a horrible job of teaching. And so you can get all the way through an advanced degree. You can get a PhD and never had anyone ever coach you on proper and not just proper, more effective communication skills.
Yeah,
Right. And so as you learn those things, if a manager knows those or learns them, they're really not a manager in the traditional sense of rewarding and punishing team members. They're coaching people in what you and I might call improved ceremony, or at least I would. And some of those ceremonies is the nature of just good one-on-one communications. We can teach little ceremonies in the midst of any conversation that you could begin to enter into to improve your communication skills with another person.
Right.
And those are wonderful and really powerful things for management to help people do better.
You know, I wonder if schools have improved in that area. I remember a long, long time ago when I was in school. we we had projects that they would assign projects where we had to collaborate with somebody. Maybe it was a small group, maybe it was just one other person, and everyone would groan, "Oh no, I got to rely on that other person." And they would just do it like so that you would learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But they didn't really teach you how to do
No,
that. They just said,
at
go
all.
figure it out. Here,
Because
go
they didn't know.
collaborate.
Yeah, my degree was electrical and computer engineering. My approach to how I would teach that is almost 180 degrees out of sync with how I was taught.
Well, that's
It would
probably
be
good.
entirely teams. It'd be paired work. You might even take tests together as a team.
That's a great
It's
one.
like it would be so different from what they do.
Can you imagine? Like,
Yeah,
it'd be like trivia night where
yeah.
you're just working together.
The and um, it'd be closer to EduScrum than which is literally something someone could look up if you were inclined. Look up now means ask ChatGPT.
Right.
Edu Scrum SCRUM. Just ask what it is. It's a
Right.
way of running a classroom that's extremely collaborative, and
Right.
I think it's dramatically better results.
Well, for sure.
Uh,
And when you do that, like even if you're as a teacher, you're not going to teach it. If you make people do it all the time, they will figure out ways to do it. I mean, teaching would be better. I'm often reminded of years ago, soccer was non-existent in the United States. Football meant one thing and one thing only, and the ball wasn't round.
right.
And
It was the shape it should be,
right,
made out of pigskin.
and if you say so. But in any case, the rest of the world was very enamored with soccer, and suddenly
Football.
somebody decided, right, football there, soccer here. Somebody decided to start teaching soccer to American kids, and nobody knew how to play soccer around here. And and like I remember a guy that I knew, actually he was the husband of somebody I worked with, and he was from England, and he was offered a professional soccer job here, not teaching at that point, but actually playing competitively in a newly minted American soccer league,
Wow.
because there was so few players that
Because he knew the
even knew
game.
how to handle a ball here, that they would take a guy who played high school soccer or football in England, and he'd be a pro here.
Yeah.
And those guys were few and far between. So the kids had to learn to play soccer. They had coaches, but the coaches didn't know how to play, so they couldn't really teach them. They would look up the rules in the book, but they didn't know
Could
any.
share the rules.
They had no techniques. They couldn't show them how to dribble a ball with their toes or anything, and so all these kicks and things that the kids figured it out on their own at first. And then eventually you got a generation of people that had played soccer in their youth and developed the skills and could teach it to the next
And share
generation.
tips. Yeah, nice.
And we don't have that. We don't have that in our education system here. We don't teach collaboration. We may encourage it, we may facilitate it, but we don't teach it, and it is a skill.
But You and I teach it when we
We
work with teams, when we're doing intentional culture.
we try. We do try.
There's no try. We do.
Okay.
I'm Yoda.
That's
There
right.
is no try. Do or do not.
That's right. You're not collaborating. You're fired.
They never give me that power.
That would be an interesting thing, huh? Like you do great individual work, but your collaboration skills aren't up to our standards. So thank you. You're
The
excused.
Menlo teams have fired people for that reason. Yeah. The
Yeah,
team has fired the individual. They were sometimes even a stellar performer. And they're like, yeah, but this is a team sport for us.
right. Yeah. If you can't do it with somebody else and bring them along and make them as good as you are,
Yeah.
we don't need you.
Or at least bring them along and make them feel good while you're berating them.
I'm not sure that's in the how to collaborate handbook.
Here's how to make them feel good.
Yeah.
So yes, so tell them how to learn more.
Okay. But first, I would like to ask, did you find this useful?
Gosh, don't ask that question.
I have to. I mean, at least entertaining. At least entertaining.
Put
I mean,
put the answer in the comments.
put it in there. Tell us.
Tom will read it.
Or just
Tom
click
will
the
read it.
like button. It's quicker. You don't have to type anything. You just click. And while you're clicking things down there, please click that subscribe button. If you listen to the whole video, you probably hear me talk about this all the time, but I have to because we just need people who are the first time listeners who haven't clicked the subscribe button yet to do that. And as Tom hinted, if you want to get better at collaboration, if you want to build real team-centric team organization, reach
Goals,
out to
structures,
us.
rewards, all of those things.
All of it. Reach out to us at beintentional.biz, and we would love to work with you.
Absolutely.
And until next time, this is Tom.
And Tom.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.